Okay, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So next section is the exempted incomes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When we talk about the exempted income, तो बच्चा exempted income के अंदर what we have to understand is that we say that whenever we are talking about the income, then in that case, that this income will be taxable. And when it is taxable, when it is more than the maximum exemption limit, right? Simply, we say that when we talk about the exempted income, then it says that what do we understand the difference between the exemptions and the deductions, right? When we talk about the deductions, in case of deductions, first we include the income and then we allow the deduction as per the rule. When we talk about the exemptions, so exemptions means that that particular income which is exempted is not included in taxable income, राइट। तो एग्जम्प्टेड इनकम्स जो हैं वो आपकी फुली एग्जम्प्ट हो सकती हैं और वो आपकी पार्शली एग्जम्प्ट हो सकती हैं, right? And there are two ways of showing the exempted incomes. That one way is that you write about that particular income, and against instead of figure you put a dash or you put word nil. So in this way what will happen that if you are doing a particular problem or solving a particular thing, so you will not forget to include this income or mention this income at later stage of your solution. So one is that whenever you are making the performer of the income, certain income is say taxable, certain is not taxable. So when you are writing the income, so if some exempted income comes, so you just write the name of the income and write the word nil. Another way is that you don't want to write it in between, and you are solving the particular problem. So the exempted income is going to be mentioned in the footnote that this particular source income or this particular amount from this particular source is exempt under section this, so not included in the taxable income. So either ways you can mention or you can cover this particular income. And when we talk about the exempted income, so under the different heads, the particular income would be taken into account fully or partially. So in this particular situation, what will happen? Let's say we'll discuss about the salary head. So what all incomes are exempt under the head salary, what all incomes are exempt or not to be included under the different heads, that we are going to consider into account. So when we talk about the exempted income, so exempted income is that income which is not chargeable under the income tax act. So it means that is not to be included in the total income. So there are we can say that all those incomes which do not form part of total income, nor is income tax payable on them, they are called fully exempted incomes. So this we need to remember that these particular incomes are not going to be taxable at all. It means 100% exemption is available on those income. There are certain incomes which are taxed at the average rate of the tax. So they are called partially exempted income. And there are certain institutions or authorities which do not require to pay tax, so income becomes exempt in their case. So partially income may we can take the example that if someone has received the gratuity, someone has received the other retirement benefits, or the person has received certain kind of allowances or certain other kind of incomes, so these incomes are exempt with the as per the rules given under the income tax act. So all these we can say partially exempted incomes or details we are going to discuss at the later stage. So when we talk about the fully exempted income, the first category, the exempted incomes are covered under section 10. The very first income is known as the agricultural income, and this agricultural income we have to discuss in detail, where we will discuss about the meaning of agricultural income, we'll discuss about the partial taxability of the agricultural income, and what all conditions are required for the taxability of agricultural income, or under what circumstances the agricultural income is going to be fully exempt. So these things we are going to discuss in a separate lecture. Then there comes the sum received by a member from Hindu undivided family. So again, here the word comes that the application and diversion of income. So when a person is running a business as a HUF, so HUF becomes a person who is liable to pay tax, right? So in this particular case, what happens, that a person who is liable to pay tax as a person, so in this means that income is taxed at first stage. So when it is distributed among members, it becomes tax free, right? Because it is just a distribution of income. Income earned by the Hindu undivided family is taxed by to the Hindu undivided family as a person. So in this particular case, when it is further divided or further given to the members, then it becomes tax free. Similarly, similar rule applies in case of share of a partner in firm's income. Again, when we talk about a firm is a person who is liable to pay tax on its income. So when the particular profit is being distributed among the partners, so this profits becomes tax free in the hands of the partners, because tax is already being paid by the firm, right? The assessment, the legal liability is of the firm, not the partners. So in that particular case, the person partner who is there, so in this particular case, as we are aware of, that LLP is also being covered under the partners category, firms category. So in this case, the LLP is also going to fall the in the same rule. Then there comes the profits of newly established undertaking in a free trade zone. So generally, when we talk about the tax imposition, it basically happens to promote certain, areas, business in certain areas, or certain kind of expansions, or we talk about the balanced growth of the economy. So different policies are being given where the tax subsidies, tax exemptions are given to promote certain areas. So in that particular situation, the free trade zone comes under this particular category. Then sum received from a life insurance. When we talk about the sum received from a life insurance, so we'll discuss about the details, and there are certain concepts of deductions under section 80C also comes, and that again we have to choose between the old regime and the new regime. So in that case, whatever deductions or exemptions we are claiming under section 10, the same cannot be claimed, means there cannot be, the way the income cannot be taxed twice, similarly the same on same amount the deductions cannot be claimed twice. So in this particular case, if there is any income which is received from LIC, as the maturity of insurance policy is fully exempt from tax, even bonus is received is also fully exempted. But if there is a keyman insurance policy, then in that particular case, this particular policy or this particular amount is not going to be taxable. If you ask me what is the difference between an individual LIC and the keyman insurance policy, so generally what happens, that the employer takes the group insurance for the name of the employees. So if something happens to the employee, then in that case it is the responsibility of the employer. So in that case, the employer is fulfilling his obligation, and to fulfill his obligation, he is taking the policy. So in that case, that is not going to exempt for the from the tax, and these details we are going to discuss in detail at later stage. Then there comes sum received from public provident fund account. So this is important under section 10 subsection 11. If we have contributed any amount received from public provident fund, then this is going to be fully exempted. But this particular income we have to show in our return, that this particular income is being received, but we have to show it to in the exempted incomes head category. And also any interest on the particular public provident fund received is to be shown into the interest head. Yes, Peter.
Ma'am, is there any limit to how much we can receive from the public provident fund or life
See,
insurance?
there is a limit that a limited amount can be deposited every year, and the term maximum term period is 15 years. So in that case, the whatever amount we will discuss under the head salary, that which particular provident funds attracts a tax liability, which particular portion is going to be exempt, or which particular portion is going to be taxable. And even in case of the gratuity or other retirement benefits, we calculate the exemptions, so the partially exempt because there is the maximum limit that in lifetime of the assessee, an assessee can claim maximum exemption up to this particular amount. So these things we are going to discuss in detail. Then there comes the payment from Sukanya Smriti account. So to promote or to encourage the savings for the female child, the Sukanya Smriti account has been initiated by the government under the government scheme. And in this particular case, whatever amount you are depositing or any amount of interest you are receiving from this particular account is going to be fully exempt from tax. So what you have to do, you have to remember 5 6 example of fully exempted incomes in your mind, right? So if a theory question or MCQ comes at this particular give example of 5 fully exempted income, so then you have to remember this thing. Yes, Vita?
Ma'am, in the Sukanya Samriddhi account, only the interest we earn is not taxable, or even the
या
deposits we make it.
नहीं नहीं, जो डिपॉजिट तो है वो आप अपनी टैक्सेबल इनकम में से ही कर रहे हो ना, तो इट कैन नॉट बी टैक्स ट्वाइस. whatever you are depositing, बच्चे हमें क्या लॉजिक क्या लेना है कि व्हाट इनकम वी आर जनरेटिंग.
ओके,
तो
तो मैम
जब
हमें
आप
कुछ
अपना पैसा,
डिडक्शन।
अपना अमाउंट डिपॉजिट कर रहे हो, तो अपने अमाउंट डिपॉजिट के ऊपर आपको अपनी इनकम पे टैक्स थोड़ा लगेगा, जो वंस यू आर डिपॉजिटिंग योर सेल्फ एंड यू आर रिसीविंग इट लेटर.
ओके मैम।
ठीक है, तो जो इंटरेस्ट इनकम है या जो आपको इनकम उससे मिलेगी वो आपकी उसके अंदर आपकी टैक्स फ्री हो जाएगी. ठीक है.
ठीक है मैम।
Then there comes payment from system trust. You can payment from the withdrawal of NPS. So all these things we are going to discuss in detail under the salary head. NPS क्या होता है, normal pension scheme क्या होती है, leave encashment, retrenchment compensation, death cum retirement benefit, etc. ये सब चीजें, all these things we are going to discuss in detail. एंड LIC से रिलेटेड भी आपकी कौन सी पॉलिसी के अंदर कितना अमाउंट टैक्सेबल होगा, कौन सी डेट्स के बाद कितना पर्टिकुलर परसेंटेज जो है प्रीमियम वो एग्जाम होना चाहिए, ऑल दीज डिटेल्स वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस लेटर ऑन. ठीक है. Then, if there are national savings certificate, post office savings, annuity certificate, interest on relief bond, or post office cash certificates, so any amount of interest received from these, this is not regarded as income, is going to be exempt from tax. Similarly, if any fellowship or scholarship is being granted, so in that particular case, the scholarship received from by government for education or research work is going to be exempt. Then there are any kind of allowances received or given to the Ministry of Parliament or Ministers of Legislative Assembly is going to be exempt from tax. Awards or rewards, any kind of awards granted by central or state government for any kind of literature or scientific work exempt. And any award other than institution apart from government shall be exempt from tax once this particular exemption is provided by the central government, otherwise not. So we can just read the family pension of armed forces, annual value of palace of ex-ruler, income from scheduled tribe, then subsidy received from tea board. Yeah, all these are exempt from tax. Then there comes the important point is that income of a minor child. So under the head clubbing of income we'll discuss in detail, but we have to understand that 1500 per annum per child is exempt from tax. If you just remember, and excess of that amount is to be included in the parents' income whose income is greater. So this will come under the head clubbing of income, right? And if you are transferring units of scheme US 64, this is going to be exempt. dividend from domestic company, it is exempt, but now the new rule has come that it is going to also going to be taxable. So the new rule, let me share with you. Yeah, there is income arising to shareholder on account of buyback of share. It is going to be income is that is going to be exempt, and in this particular situation, if the company is not going to pay tax, so in that particular situation, the dividend income is going to be taxable in selective areas. Let me find out the rule. I'll share it in detail at the later stage. I'm not able to find the rule right now. Okay, in one thing there is national pension scheme का हमने discuss किया था. So that particular amount is exempt up to 60% of the total amount payable, and withdrawal is exempt up to 60%, up to 25%, right? Okay. Then after that, there is. Let me go to the other book. Yeah, these are the incomes which are exempted in the hands of the individual. So these we are going to discuss in at later stage. सारी जो details हैं, these are partially exempt, and the rules are given under the head salaries. So we have to find out the rules, and we have to calculate the exemption amounts in each category, which are the conditions when it is be satisfied, how much maximum exemption we can claim. All these details we are going to discuss under the head salary. So all these details will come under the head salary. And in case of income under certain institution and funds, so there comes about the local authority, scientific research association, news agency, professional institutions, armed forces, or khadi and village industries. So in these case or institutions, the income is going to be exempt. So you just have to remember three, four institution, or just you can have a look on these. In your book, these institution details are not being given. Here you can just have a look. Agricultural income 10.1 received by some received by a member of HUF 10.2, then form 10.2A, 10.4 non-resident external account. Yeah, this particular point is says, okay. This particular point says that in case of an individual assessee, any income by way of interest on money standing to his credit in a non-resident external account in any bank in India shall also be exempt if certain conditions are satisfied. So these conditions says that if we are having the interest income in the account, Indian account of a non-resident who is not residing in India, so if certain conditions are satisfied, then that particular interest income is going to be exempt. Then travel concession given to an individual by his employer, we'll discuss in the head salary. Remuneration to persons who are not Indian citizens. So in that case, if there are diplomats, there are foreign employee of foreign enterprise, non-resident, or remuneration of employee of foreign government during his training in India. So all these remunerations would be exempt from tax. Allowances or purposes outside India. These allowances are called as the foreign allowances. So if a person is an Indian citizen and he is working abroad and he is receiving salary from the Indian government, then in that case, whatever allowances or perquisites he is receiving outside India would be exempt, but the salary received by him is going to be taxable. Then about the gratuity, pension, leave encashment, retrenchment compensation, all these things we are going to discuss under the head salaries. Then if the payments are being given under the Bhopal Gas Leak Disaster Act, so these are exempt in the hands of the recipient. And if there is any kind of disaster, any compensation is being given that is again exempt, that is not treated as income. Again, about voluntary retirement scheme, perquisites, these all are going to be exempt in under the head salary. We are going to discuss there in detail. Then the next topic is about the life insurance policy. So if we talk about the life insurance policy, so any sum received under the life insurance policy are by way of particular such policies fully exempt from tax. But the following sum received are not exempt under this section. So any receive a sum received under the policy under this section, any sum received under Keyman insurance policy, any sum received on the insurance policy issued after 1st April 2003 और before 31st of March 2012. तो अगर कोई भी उसका प्रीमियम जो है 20% से एक्सीड करता है तो उस केस में वो एग्जाम नहीं होगा. However, such a sum received on the death of the person shall be exempt. Similarly, after 1st April 2012 से आपका जो प्रीमियम है वो 10% हो गया, and after 1st April 2013 if any sum is received, then in that case for the insurance of the person अगर वो disability और severe disability under 80U deduction दे रहा है, ये all these points we are going to discuss in detail under the head salary, so don't worry about it. Then about provident fund under the head salary, partially exempt, certain conditions to be satisfied. Then Sukanya Samriddhi account, then payments provident fund again, and NPS amount opting out. तो 60% से आपका ज़्यादा एग्जाम नहीं होगा, और अगर आप कैश विड्रॉल करते हैं तो 25% से ज़्यादा एग्जाम नहीं होगा. Or approved superannuation fund, again we are going to discuss under the head salary. So these are the allowances, all these things we are going to discuss in case of the salary only. Scholarship we discuss, allowances we are going to discuss, award or rewards already told you, pension received by certain awardees fully exempt. So these are the certain items: income of local authority, research association, specified news agency, armed forces, all these are going to be exempt under the head income tax act. And there are certain incomes which are given from certain funds which are of national importance. These are exempt under section 10 subsection 23C. So this is important, we have to remember. So Prime Minister National Relief Fund में Prime Minister Fund, promotion of folk art, aid to student fund, National Foundation Fund of Communal Harmony, Swachh Bharat, Clean Ganga Fund, Chief Minister Relief Fund, University Education Fund, Hospital Fund, or any grant which is being established for charitable institution, etc. This is going to be exempt. About the minor club we have discussed. ठीक है, these I will share with you and you just can go through. But in this chapter we just need to remember two things. One, under what circumstances income is fully exempt from tax, under what circumstances it is partially exempt from tax, and with respect to partially exempt we are going to discuss under the head salary and the other heads of income, and fully exempted